I noticed that some people chalk up certain traits as a identity that they were like born with, but I just wanted to say that a lot of the traits that I'm noticing that people are like claiming as like just who they are is literally like from trauma. For example, people with like extreme, how do I put it? Okay, so you ever met someone who is either the type of person that's like, no, it's either this way or it's wrong, like they have to have certain things a certain type of way, like it's either this way is the right way, whatever way that they feel is the correct way is the correct way, in accordance to themselves. For example, I can use like privacy. Like these are the people that like have like lock, those little like black screens that you can like protect your phone with, and like they don't believe that like their partner should have the option at all to go through their phone. Now, I'm not one of those people that's condoning like he has to go through phones, like that's how a relationship should be, like just us going through each other's phone. No, it should never, you should never even be in a situation where you feel like you would even ever have to go through someone's phone. But what I wanted to point out is just the fact that there's people that believe that somebody should never even have the option to, so they have like 50 different like passwords, and it's just extremely hard to like ever like access those types of things. So the point that I wanted to bring that up is like a lot of times those types of people still have the trauma, like to where when they were younger, they their parents did not ever like respect their boundaries. Their boundaries were always being like violated, and so they never had the option to like have any type of privacy, or they were like forced to do certain types of things. Like they didn't have an option to do the things that they wanted. For example, like say if like they really didn't like sports and their parents like forced them into like football. I promise all this is gonna like make sense when I make the connection. But say like they forced them into like football or something, they really hated football, but because the parents was like, yeah, you're gonna do this, so they had to do that. In their brain, like subconsciously, like all these like little things. Oh, and even like, like diaries, for example, like say if like they had a diary and like their parent went through their diary or was snooping through their room and just ended up like discovering, a couple different things. And like, so this person ends up growing up as an adult and they register like certain types of intimacy as like a violation, like divulgence as like a violation. And in order to like avoid that like traumatic like feeling, like those emotions that come up from that trauma, they put certain like protection plans in place, like having like a protection screen on their phone so that you can't like look through their phone, or like they have the excessive like passwords, or they're the type of person to where like say if they're in a relationship and them and this person is like communicating, say their partner is going through something, you should always like communicate, but say like the partner doesn't want to like speak about it right then and there. This is the type of person that will be like, okay, well if we don't talk about it right now, we're not talking about it at all. And they actually are okay with not talking about it at all because the intimacy aspect of it, it's all associated with like the trauma. Like intimacy is associated with like wrong, you know what I'm saying, because of those things that happened to them as a child. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I can give another example. These are also the type of people that avoid talking about certain types of topics because it will bring up certain types of emotions, again, from like their childhood, from different things that they've been through that they still have not healed from. There's a lot of people in this world that literally are claiming these sort of things as a personality trait and that they were just born that way, and like don't even realize that it's like directly like a direct result from the way that they like grew up and different things that they experienced. And if you're that type of person and you like kind of start to like notice these things about yourself, like there's a way to like change that. It starts with like you acknowledging that you don't have to be that way and that there actually is more to life. Like you can literally go through, on your own time, like address those traumatic things that you went through as a child and understand that like, first of all, like that's over with, that's in the past. But again, not to like disclaim, like not to dismiss your feelings or anything. It's more so just so that you're not like reliving the past sort of thing. You should like, you could either like journal or just whatever, like you could get therapy. Another example of what I mean is like, for example, those people that feel that they just are not Basically, what I was saying is that there's a certain type of person. There's people that claim certain traits as like a personality trait, and really it's just from trauma. Like, they had certain violations happen as a child, and that carried on to their adult age. So, for example, if a person was like had like boundaries, right? Their boundaries were constantly being violated and like not respected by their parents. Privacy is a good example. So like you had parents that were like invading your privacy constantly, going through your like diary, and maybe they read something in your diary that they didn't like, and then they took action from something that they weren't even supposed to know about, and it was like extremely traumatic and extremely embarrassing and all of that. And psychologically, like, that became like a trauma for you because it was something very traumatic. It was detrimental to your mental health, to your emotions, all of that, and you experiencing that at such a young age, and no one there to like help you in any way. What was I about to say? Yeah, no one being there to help you in that situation. So that's something that like carried on to your adult age. Another example